let's just trust my niece or nephew because they're
I hear that a
on
lot.
Snapchat.
I hear that a lot. Yeah. Welcome back to 12 TV. We're here on episode 7 with our guest, Beverley Theresa. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
She is founder of her consulting agency, Social Media with Beverley Theresa, and a featured speaker across Canada at many social media conferences and marketing conferences. Could you tell us a bit more about yourself?
So I'm a social media strategist. I work for myself, so I'm my own small business. Really, it's just right now I'm focusing a lot on workshops, training, and consulting. So
awesome. How did you get into social media? Is it a passion of yours, or how did you get started?
It was an accident. So I've been on Twitter since 2008, and I've just been like this obnoxious person on Twitter, but like kind of fun. And
creating conversations.
Yeah, and I realized like, hey, like businesses can use this, and I saw other businesses on it, and they would ask me like, how are you being successful on Twitter? Like, how do you make these real life connections? And I kind of just fell into it.
Mm-hmm. So you fell into the helping businesses start their brand on Twitter and create conversation, right? Then more and more people start coming to you and say like, hey, how do you help me? And
so I've never really had to advertise for my services at all. It's kind of just word of mouth or referrals, and I do a lot of inbound marketing as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I see your site. I love the inbound stuff on there, and you give a lot of good information there. Yeah. From working with all these businesses in your past history of like from small to large, where do you find the biggest gap is between themselves and their social media presence?
I think there's a really big divide between the owner of the company, depending on the business size, and the marketing team or the marketing person. They don't have like their branding and tone down, and so it kind of sounds off-brand when the owner comes in and regulates how the social media or marketing person is going to talk on Twitter or on Facebook, and the message kind of gets blurred or it's not on brand.
Right. Do you find that, and I know it's 2018, do you find that some people are still hesitant to get that message out there and they don't see the benefits of it?
Yes.
Right?
I see it all the time. Like if businesses were all jumping on social and we're all cool with it, I wouldn't have a job.
Right.
So a lot of them just are behind on the times, and they're scared of being on social media because they think that, oh, people will talk about us. But people are probably talking about you already on social, unless your business sucks. But
don't we want them to talk about business?
Yeah,
so
and then you need those platforms in order to engage and reply with those people that are already talking about you. So it's just a matter of like getting on it.
So once they decide to get on it, what do you think they should be, like how should they take advantage of the platforms, or what should they do next?
I think if they're scared, starting out, maybe like learning more about social media, especially if you're taking it in-house and you're just like, oh, I'll just have like our intern or our receptionist do this.
Yeah.
It's really important to have like a little bit of training at least, because those people are going to be representing your business, your brand online, and there's so many like social media fails that you see because people effed up. So
some people think that, oh, I have an intern, I have a young 18-year-old receptionist, and because she's on Instagram or he's on Instagram and
oh my God, yes.
On Snapchat, let's just get them to run all of our social, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that, right?
So let's just trust my niece or nephew because they're
I hear that a lot.
Snapchat.
I hear that a lot. Yeah.
Well, I'll just get my niece to do it for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Can I swear?
You can swear, 100%.
Are you fucking kidding me? Because doing social media for yourself versus for a business is totally different.
Right. And so some people say, well, where do I get started? Okay, do I have content? I might be like, a consulting business or whatever it may be. I hear a lot of people struggle with what to do for content. Where do you get started, or where do you point them in the right direction to get started?
First, you have to have a strategy. So figuring out where social media is going to fit into what you're already doing with traditional and other digital marketing tactics or strategies that you're doing now. And then it's kind of like, okay, we have our strategy. How do we reach those goals, those measurable goals that we laid out? And using content is key pretty much.
Right. I hear more and more from our friend Gary Vee and other people, document versus creating. creating seems to be something so forced. Is it better just to document the process and a day in the life of what's going on in that corp or business?
I mean, it's more, and I hate the word authentic, that's why I put it in air quotes, but it's more legit, I guess you could say, instead of like the really pretty, like, hey, I took like an hour to arrange my water bottle and like my laptop and stuff here, and I'm going to take a
People
shot.
Call you out on that these days, right?
Yeah, so you just, like, and it's fucking time consuming too.
That's
so
right.
I'm all about, like, this is what's happening, I'm just going to take a picture, maybe I'll just take a minute to arrange something, but I'm not going to sit there for 20 minutes rearranging something for myself. But again, it depends on your brand. If your brand is like really clean and whatever, then maybe that's what you need to do.
So that all goes back to if they figure out that message and what their the strategy is from the beginning, then they'll have the right path of where they want to move, right? Awesome. I see you're a speaker. You've been featured across so many different conferences, especially in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
How did you get started with speaking?
Let's see, what was my first speaking thing? Oh, well, I was just usually do like small networking events before, and it was just out of like, hey, you know, social media, come talk to this at this, and I was like, oh, I can get paid to do this. So I applied to speak at iMedia, a local social media conference here in Edmonton, and I got accepted. So I've been doing iMedia like on a yearly basis, but really all you have to do is apply to speak, or if you build up enough street cred, people will come to you and they'll ask you to speak.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. I've seen recently from a post you posted, you were at a conference and you were more of the antisocial type, the antisocial social media type, right? I personally have that fear, the thought of speaking in front of a lot of people. How do you get over that and speak in front of hundreds or thousands of people?
I think just because I'm always myself, and like I'm kind of awkward in real life too, probably, you know. But like I'll get on stage and I won't pretend to be someone else. I won't pretend to be like this super professional person. I'll still be me. I'll still use the language that I always use. I'll swear.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's kind of like how me and you are talking right now. It's just more comfortable when you can be yourself in front of people.
Right.
So.
From those conferences, do you get to do Q&A after, or so what is the question that comes up the most?
How do I get followers?
Yeah.
So I'm always like, hey, vanity metrics, go shoot yourself in the face. But no, not really.
Yeah.
Basically, how do I get followers? How do I get fans? And they always just want to focus on that number, but it's really, the question should be, how do I find qualified people to follow me or to like my page?
Right.
So.
Okay. We're going to chat a bit more about social and what's going on. We're going to dive deep a little bit about that. Facebook in the news this week and past couple of weeks or whatever. A breach, online information. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was watching the reel of like interesting things that happened during the Mark Zuckerberg like preliminary trial or whatever that was, and some of like the dudes in suits were like, oh, I'm on Facebook, my son's on Facebook, my son loves Instagram, shout out to him, and blah blah blah. And I was like, isn't this like a professional thing? But yeah, so I'm not surprised that like our data has been leaked. I'm not surprised that Facebook has been gathering this information. I think me and you as marketers know that on any social media platform, you're basically the product. Yeah. So
information is what's valuable, what's make their company valuable.
Yeah, and then like people are like, oh, my data's out there, or Facebook has been collecting all this data on me, and I'm like, do you use air miles? Do you have a loyalty card? Like, it's exactly the same thing.
Have you bought anything online ever?
Yeah.
And like, they have your information.
Yeah.
You like buying shoes online? They know that.
They know what size
they know
you are.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It's not a huge thing.
No.
Surprise, yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of you trying to be more careful about what you put online, but really, like, it's online.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah. You put your picture out there.
Yeah.
The world has your picture.
Yeah, and even if you delete it, like we see with companies doing like no-nos on social and like getting bashed by other people because people are taking screenshots. So whatever you put online, it's going to be online forever.
Yeah, for sure. So be cautious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Algorithm changes, something that came up lots earlier this year. I get asked this a lot, so I thought I'd ask you.
Okay.
Some people are freaking out that Facebook is, holding back their information for something. Some people say it's a good thing. Do you think the algorithm change on Facebook or in their ad platform or videos or pictures, whatever, is a negative effect or positive effect for businesses?
I think it's a positive wake-up call to businesses, because a lot of times you see them just posting whatever.
Right.
And you're like, how does this add value to my feed? What am I getting out of following you besides like all these like sale posts or something like that? So, I mean, it's not bad, because the focus that Facebook wants to put on is value for their users.
100%.
Yeah, and so it's just a matter of businesses trying to think of like better content, so creating quality content, sourcing quality content, and I mean, engagement baiting was one of the things too that they're like going to be demoting. So if you say like or comment on this post on Facebook, so it's actually refreshing to me, because I'm sick of seeing those
videos.
Yeah, those videos.
Yeah.
And like this comment if you want to win $1 million or whatever it is, and I'm like, okay, like what is this gonna do?
I'm with you 100%, because I feel like what they're gonna do is hold back some of those more useless type videos and bring authentic content from people or businesses forward. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and if the business really wants something to be seen, just put a little bit of money behind it. Facebook advertising isn't expensive.
Yeah. Instagram also the talk these days, chronological. They're thinking of bringing that back, is what I hear. What are your thoughts?
I feel like they need to, because like I know that they said that they fixed it, but like seeing New Year's posts when it's like February or something like that, like it's really frustrating. And I mean, I do like that it shows you people that you interact with most or whatever it is, but I like the chronological thing, because then when you're scrolling through it, it makes sense. And for event marketing too, that will be huge.
I think so.
Bring it back.
I think sometimes I don't like seeing something that was posted 2 days ago, especially if it was something happening that 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like such a creep, like someone's thing that's like from 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So I am a creep, but that's okay.
I'm going to ask you what you mentioned earlier. I get this a lot, and thought I'd hear your feedback and take on it. How do you get more likes, or how do you get more fans? How do you get more engagement? What do you think?
So I just feel like a robot when I say these things, because it's like everyone in the industry says it, but it's true. Basically, like serve your audience on social media, and they'll serve you back by liking and following you. And by serving them, I mean giving them content that's actually usable and interesting, or they learn something from. And like, don't be afraid to give away information for free, because in the end, you can tell me step by step how to create a website or whatever it is, but am I actually going to implement that myself? I'll probably just end up hiring you to do it. So
I'm never afraid of giving content. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the key was to give content, give value to your audience.
Yeah, and then like you'll get that engagement, because you're being genuine about what you're sharing and trying to help people.
And that's the answer that people never want to hear, but it's 100% the truth. And they think there's a magic formula, right?
I mean, there's black hat ways you can go about getting followers and stuff like that.
But what's the point if they don't translate to authentic followers or customers or fans, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting, because for my presentation at Social West, I actually bought followers on Instagram just to see what would happen, and like nothing happened.
Right.
It's just like the numbers there.
Yeah.
But okay. Like,
it doesn't help the business or the person at all. Yeah. So I think people see other people online who've done that, and take these fake photos, and all of a sudden they have like all this, and they, well, I want those followers, but it's not good for their business.
No, and like a lot of times too, if you're your own personal brand, you want 1 trillion followers, but you have to realize that a lot of those people on Instagram have been there for like 10 years or whatever it may be now. So it didn't happen overnight for them, and you shouldn't really be on social just so you can get rich or whatever, like if you're your own personal brand. Right. Yeah.
Snapchat versus Instagram. Instagram stories. I'm big on Instagram stories as well too. What are your thoughts on Snapchat versus Instagram?
So I still like, when stories was launched, I was like, what is this? Is this like Snapstagram? But
I've never heard that one before.
I love Instagram stories just because everyone is on Instagram already.
Right.
With Snapchat, you get that really engaged audience, because they can't just like look you up on like anywhere. It's more like, here's my username, or here's my code, like add me to your Snapchat and stuff like that. So you get more engaged people who actually want to be there and see your content. But on Instagram, I find that I personally and some of my clients also have more reach, and you can kind of, and there's like the view through rates and everything like that, so you can track.
The stats are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're pro Instagram stories versus Snapchat.
I don't hate Snapchat, but I don't use it as much.
I think they're used for different things, but I think where Instagram wins more here is because you already have that following, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
do you feel like Snap's gonna go down in the long run, or they're gonna pivot and make that change?
They still have like their core users, like Gary Vee still uses it. So, I mean.
Yeah. I think they have a lot of small shows and they can start moving into that, right?
Yeah, I think like pivoting would be smart for them, but also like don't forget about the users who use it to like record their life.
Facebook advertising, you mentioned it a little bit and how valuable it is here. What are your thoughts on that, maybe versus traditional versus Google AdWords? I'm super pro Facebook advertising. I think it's best bang for your buck.
So
what do you think?
A difference how you utilize Google AdWords versus Facebook paid ads. Google ads are like, okay, you get someone who's searching, they know what they want.
Yeah.
And then on social or Facebook, it's more like, I didn't know I wanted this.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like you have to think about the process that a buyer would go through to buy your product or even think about your product. So Google, if someone's looking for your product or your service, whatever, that's perfect for it. But on Facebook, it's kind of like, hey, did you know that you needed this?
Right. So use it in different ways.
Yeah.
100%.
And digital marketing, I love it because it's so trackable and you can change the strategy. You can change anything about it like right away. Whereas if you paid like thousands of dollars for a billboard, it's like, what are you going to do? Edit the billboard and go up there with like the rolly thing.
And I like Facebook because you can find your niche market and target it towards them, or target different products towards different markets.
And because they're collecting our data,
it's
really perfect for marketers.
This year, I see more and more messenger bots on Facebook, and more use of AI, things like making purchases online, even customer care, booking flights. What are your thoughts on messenger bots?
I love them, personally. I mean, I follow this growth hacker in the States, and he uses a messenger bot, and that was kind of my first experience on actually experiencing it one-on-one, and I was just like, this is genius. Like, it's just so, like, it's
what does he use conversation wise?
So basically he's like, I have a PDF, blah, 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 message me on Facebook or use this link, and then you go to message the page on Facebook, and then it says, if you want to get a copy of this, write blah, blah, blah. So you write blah, 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 you get that PDF, you download it, and then a couple days later you get a message, hey, blah, blah, blah. And it's more like personal, and you know that Facebook, people are going to read it.
Yeah, I haven't implemented it myself yet, but from what I learned out there, the engagement is super high. For people who are trying to build their email marketing list, let's say in this case scenarios, a pop-up to ask for email, click-through rate submission rate much less than, let's say, a messenger rate.
And it's easier to get people's attention than an email or whatever.
Brand new, right? So you think this will be the future?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then the bots will take over and kill us all. But.
So we get into like, I'm talking bots and AI, voice marketing, right? Maybe not really social, but the Internet of Things, right? We have Google Home, Amazon Alexa, Apple HomePod. What are your thoughts on voice?
So they're saying like making sure that your website is optimized for voice search.
Right.
If you think about the way that people talk to objects, or when you look for something on your phone, I'm always like directions to 12 Creative, or how like traffic right now in Edmonton. So it's kind of like thinking about what people will use on their Alexa or Google Home and the types of keywords that they use, and people will search more like with like conversationally as opposed to 12 Creative Edmonton.
They'll always ask Alexa a question, let's say, right? So is it going to be the next big thing?
I don't know, because I personally don't have anything like that in my house. But I mean, I use my phone for everything, and I use OK Google, like whatever that service is. So who knows?
Cool. I see it everywhere now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm waiting for where Alexa I can order, ask it to order, things for the home. Pizza, 100%. Yeah.
I'm actually waiting. You know that movie She, where he like
The
falls
AI?
in love with the AI. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
that because I want like the perfect dude in my phone.
But then what happens? The next
I
step after that,
realize-
like you say, that robots take over, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Podcasting and vlogging,
Yeah.
which we're kind of doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that important for a business in terms of social media presence
Yeah,
for them?
for sure. It's like a way to cut through and be like, we're personable. There's people behind like this corporation or whatever it is, and this is our personality, and it kind of shows like trustworthiness and brand recognition and whatever it is. So, and also on social, like if you have photos or a podcast or some type of media
Right.
attached to it, especially with videos, you'll find that you get more reach and more engagement.
And they can educate through these mediums, right?
And it's so easy. Like you just set up 2 cameras,
Right here.
a light thing, and have your little.
Have a Kurt behind the camera.
Have him
Yeah.
behind the camera or no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually used to have a YouTube series on like Social Media Thursdays with Beverley, Theresa, and it lasted for like 2 months, and then I was like, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be starting that up again. But I realized because one of my videos, how to use Facebook Creative Hub, has like over 3,000 views now, and all I did was I just uploaded it and I forgot about it because I'm like, video's too hard to do.
And it doesn't have to be fancy. It could just be, screen capture. It could be setting up an iPhone. It could be setting up a camera and just hit record and get behind the camera, right?
As long as if you have it as like the minimum viable effort or minimum viable product type thing, then you're more inclined to keep up with it and keep it consistent.
Right. What's your favorite platform to use?
Twitter. I love Twitter.
Yeah. I see you big on LinkedIn too, though.
Yes.
Is it kind of like?
I mean, so if you see me on LinkedIn, that means you're using LinkedIn, which is amazing. A lot of people don't utilize it, or they're like, LinkedIn is so boring. But I'm like, I get clients from LinkedIn, so like.
I get probably my most engagement from LinkedIn right now.
Yeah. And it's just so easy to put something up of value because like you're really more careful on what you're sharing on LinkedIn because you know it's a professional network.
Right.
It's like I might be swearing on Twitter, but I'm not going to swear on LinkedIn sometimes. But yeah.
I'm not sharing a picture of my dog or anything. Trying to get valuable information.
Exactly.
But I find I create more authentic conversation through LinkedIn.
And it's more like there's no like bots. Well, I haven't ever seen bots.
Yeah.
So they're not like nice content or great posts
Yeah.
or whatever it is. It's more like, hey, great post. I really liked your point about blah, blah, blah. So it's more, again, authentic and genuine.
They just rolled out video advertising too.
Yeah, which is amazing. And I'd like to see like, last time I tried to post to LinkedIn like business pages, you couldn't upload a video. So I'd like to see video being able to.
It's really moving along though. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So based on that, is Twitter still your favorite?
Yes.
Yeah?
Twitter will forever be in my heart, and I'm gonna marry Jack.
So what's the state of Twitter now? Now that things are moving to other, Facebook.
Yeah, honestly, from clients, all I hear is I don't know how to use Twitter. Or Twitter scares me, or I've been on Twitter for the past couple months and you don't see anything coming from it. So it's mostly just like you have to know how to use it. And with Twitter, I run some people's Twitter accounts like a ghost tweeter, but I prefer like if they would run it themselves. Like, yeah, I'll do it, but it's always more real when you do it yourself because Twitter, it's kind of like nonstop. You have to be tweeting like a lot to get seen because I think the lifetime of a tweet is like 19 minutes or something like that. So posting a lot and also like having conversations with people is more important on Twitter than it is just sharing out links and not responding to anyone.
So what's the thing you get the most out of Twitter? Is it that authentic conversation you're having with other people?
Yeah. So it's more like I'm more myself on Twitter than any other network because I will like talk about other stuff besides social media and post things about like my personal life, or I'll talk about my boyfriend and things like that. Whereas on like Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, it's more curated.
Right.
And also like I made those connections like in 2008 on Twitter, so I'm not going to just like abandon those people. And I get a lot of word of mouth referrals from Twitter as well.
So also good for business.
Yeah, it's great for business.
Do you use the hashtag or to search different things, different topics that you may want? Let's just say hockey or cats or whatever, and then jump into conversations with other people about those things?
I don't search hockey,
but like any topic. But I hear this, you can jump into around the world, right?
Yeah. So it's basically like whatever you're interested in, you can find it on Twitter. You can search for hashtags, or you can just search like the keywords or the phrase, and find people talking about whatever it is. And then if you have a question about it, you can just tweet them and ask them the question. It's not like you have to like send them a formal message and stuff like that. It's kind of like, just don't be afraid to jump in, and if people are rude to you, then like whatever.
I've personally connected with people from around the world on Twitter. You know, it's easier to find them on Twitter, send them a message, especially if they're using it all the time, right? And and then send them an email, right? They'll respond to you.
And surprisingly, like a lot of CEOs and like big wigs have Twitter.
That's right.
So you can like technically just tweet them, and it's like, oh, I talked to the CEO of whatever, Apple. No, probably not Apple. But like, it's easy for you to be noticed as a person versus like I'm pitching you something to sell you.
So 100%, your advice would be use Twitter.
Use Twitter, learn how to use it. And don't be afraid to engage with people you don't know, because that's what Twitter's all about.
And that's a big takeaway. Yeah. Any upcoming social media platforms that that you could tell us about? I know Vero's been slowly popping up a little more in the public.
I signed up for Vero, and then I read a bunch of stuff online about how they treat their Filipino workers badly. So I was like, delete. So I'm not gonna talk about Vero. But I think like right now I'd like to see something like Vero, but better than Vero.
What would you like to see that's better? Let's say.
Do you remember like LiveJournal and like those? I'm probably older than you. LiveJournal was like a live blogging thing where you could like follow people and like write about your day or like post whatever. I'd like to see something like that come back. I mean, there's Medium.
Medium's
like
big
that.
one, yeah.
Yeah, but like.
I love how they have like 2-minute read.
Yeah, exactly. I really like that. Like something like Medium, but for more personal things, because I'm like a creep and I want to know everything about people's lives. And I know that a lot.
Do you know everything about my
like
life?
that. Yes. No. I should have stopped you. But like I like to know those things about people that I'm like I consider like a mentor or whatever.
Right.
But there's like not really anything besides like their own blog, but usually their own blog just focuses on business and not really like real life stuff. Okay,
cool. If you had a big takeaway, I know we talked about all different things that you could tell our audience or anyone listening that would be one thing that you would say to help grow their business, what would that be?
Oh gosh, put me on the spot. Get on social media, because more than likely like your audience is going to be on it. And if you're scared about getting on social media, call me.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
But really, it's just like get into the digital realm. You need more than just like a Facebook page. Get a website, because as you can see, like Facebook is limiting who reads your content or who sees things.
Right.
And then who's to say that like maybe they'll limit like what you're posting or what you have posted. So you want to have somewhere where you can have all of your content arranged how you want it to be and easy to find to people, but also like you own it on your own website and you control it yourself.
I think so. I always tell people it's always good to grow their own email marketing list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because let's say they have 1 million people on Facebook, something happens on Facebook tomorrow, they lose all that, right?
Exactly.
So it's something in your own control.
Yeah, and an email marketing list is really powerful too, even for Facebook, because you can upload those emails into Facebook, and Facebook will find users that are logged in or have an account with that email, and lookalike audiences and things like that. So really, there's like lots of fun things you can do with people's email addresses.
That's what people are scared of.
Exactly.
All right. You are speaking at a couple conferences coming up. Could you tell us where they could find you if they want to attend?
So I'm going to be at Social Media Camp in Victoria at the beginning of May. And then I'm speaking at a Next Gen event in Edmonton at 9910 on May 9th. And then in June, I'm going to be speaking at Social West in Calgary. And then in August, I'm speaking at a trade show and expo that's probably not relevant to you in Edmonton.
Wow, you're super busy.
Yeah, I like it though.
You like it? That's good, right? Where do we find you online? Your website? Where do you find you?
You can find me online at hellobeverley.com. That's Beverly with an L-E-Y. Thanks, Mom. And on social media, everywhere, Hello Beverley.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for
this was
having
super
me.
fun.
Yeah.